Hello and welcome. On this tutorial we're going to be working on changing the straps of this wristwatch and turning them into crochet straps. So this is the way it's going to look once we change it up. So if you have an old wristwatch or you just want to give your wristwatch a new and a beautiful unique look, something that you can customize to suit your style, then this is definitely the tutorial for you. So you're going to need two colored yarns, color of preference. This is glittery gold yarn and nylon fishing twine. You're going to need a razor, a crochet hook, a pair of scissors. So to start off, we're going to cut the old straps. I'm using a razor. You can use a pair of scissors depending on the strap, on how strong the strap is. So we're just going to be cutting the strap and leaving the metal joining the two sides. I don't know what to call it, but just cut the straps at the top because we're also going to be using them for measurement as we do the new straps. Now to start off, we're going to make a slip knot. If you've watched my loop tutorials, the same way we start the single crochet around the loop, that's just the same technique we're going to be using. So insert your hook into between the metal connector and work. We're going to be working 5 single crochets into that space. So we just make a slip knot, insert your hook, pull the yarn, and now you're going to just be working single crochets, 5 for this design. If your watch is wider, you can do more. You can do less if it's a bit slim, depending on your wristwatch. So that is the 5th and the final. Also consider the lock. It should be able to fit the lock, so don't make it too wide. Just use the old straps to also get the height and the width of how many single crochets you will need, what will be the foundation to get the thickness of it. Also depending on the yarn you're using, if it's thick yarn or slim yarn. So this is just row 2, where we're just going to be doing the second row, third up to the 4th row of single crochets, just working with black. That is our first color. So once you're done with the rows, you can now be interchanging and coming up with different pattern designs, or if you just want to do a plain color, that can also work. So as you can see, I am in the 4th row of 5 single crochets in the chain, in the metal thing. And this is now the 5th row of single crochets. This is row 5. Once you are done with the 5th row, do not finish the last single crochet completely, because you're going to use it to attach the new yarn. We're going to add the new yarn for the 6th row, or depending on the design you're going or how far apart you want the patterns to be or the color change to be. So in the 6th row, we're going to change the color, attach the gold yarn, and in the first space we're going to do a single crochet. So once you attach the new color yarn, you're going to do a single crochet in that space. And now for us to achieve the V-shaped or the downward shaped design, we're going to be making the next single crochet into the 3rd row from the row where you are in. It might be the 3rd row, the front, also depending on how far you want it to be. So in that same line where the next single crochet is you just go down into maybe the next, or skip 2 or 3 downwards. Then for the next space, we're going to do just a simple single crochet into the next space, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. And for the fourth, we're going to also do the same. We're now going to go downwards all the way to the third single crochet line from the top, like going down third. That makes it 4, so we're going to finish off with the last single crochet, the 5th one. We're just going to do a simple normal single crochet. And how I join my yarn is I don't completely finish the single crochet stitch. I just use the new color yarn to make the color change, so that when I start the new row, I'm going to be starting with the new color. But you can use whatever color changing technique that works best for you. So next we're going to now continue with the black yarn. I did not really count the number of rows I did, but as long as you keep counter checking with the strap measurements, ensure you can know how many times you can add the pattern. For me, I did around 2 times of the pattern. So I did 6 rows, then I went to the gold. I think I did another 6 rows of black, and then changed to the gold design. So as you keep working on your wristwatch, so far this is how far I've gone, and this is the outcome. I'm just trying to measure it with my old strap and see how far it is. And remember, depending on the yarn you use, it might be stretchy yarn, so also put that into consideration, because if your yarn is stretchy, then you need to give it some allowance. You don't need to make sure it's the exact same size. For me, this yarn is not stretchy, so I'm just working with the exact measurements. So this is the second part. I think halfway I'm changing the yarn to do the gold design. As you can see, this is how I change my yarn. I do not finish the last single crochet in the previous row. I use the new yarn to finish the single crochet, so that I automatically change the colors. So yarn over and turn your work, and use the same pattern as the previous pattern behind. So we're going to start with a single crochet. Then for the next space, we're going to do a downward single crochet, like going downwards to the third row. Then another simple single crochet. Then for the fourth, we're going to go a downward single crochet, and finally just finish off with the 5th single crochet. Once you're done, we're going to now change back to our black yarn and finish up our strap for the long part. So now we're going to be working on the tip, and we're just going to be decreasing as we go up to get that V shape at the top. So just going to do 1 decrease on every row as you keep going up. So I did my decreases in the middle. So that was the first single crochet. The next one, then I'm going to do a 2 tog crochet there at the third space to make it 1. and finally a single crochet at the end. So now instead of 5 single crochets, now we will have 4. Chain 1, turn your work. For the next row, we're going to start again with a single crochet. Then for the next space, you're going to do a 2-tog where you insert your hook, pull the yarn through, but don't complete it. Insert your hook in the next space, pull the yarn through, and now complete it to get a 2-tog. And finally do a single crochet at the very end. Chain 1, turn your work. Now we have 3 spaces, so for this row we're going to reduce to 2, and then finally end up with 1. And you have your strap is all done. You can now use the same pattern for the other side of the strap. This is the watch I made. This is how your watch will look like once you're done. So now we're going to be attaching the lock. I don't know if I should call it lock or... So we're just going to cut it off from the old strap so that we can attach it to the new one. So the same pattern we used on the strap for the, let me say, on the right side, is the same you will use for the left side, making sure that this side will be a bit shorter. Just compare it with the straps you took out. I will try and get measurements and add them in the video for someone who might not be having the straps, might just be having the watch part, so that you can at least be able to get measurements if you would like to be very much accurate. So this is the final part of attaching this clasp lock into your strap. So once you're done with the yarn completely, you can just cut off the yarn at a good allowance, because we're just going to be using it loosely. So insert the yarn from the back. We're going to work like from the back to the front. Once the thread is inserted back, coming towards the front, you're going to insert your hook at the farthest space. Insert your hook from the back towards the front so that you can be able to pull the yarn backwards. It will have made a loop around the clasp lock. I'm just going to call it that. So that's what we're going to be doing. So now the yarn is at the back. You're going to insert it again into the front, coming to the front, and into the next space, insert your hook from the back and pull the yarn through, bringing the yarn to the back again. So for me to make this design for the yarn to hold firmly, I did 2 such loops in each space. I would do 2 times in each space. That would make it from 5 to 10. So again, I'm going to do the same thing, the yarn back all the way front. So this is the technique I use to hold the clasp to the strap. This made it look a bit neater rather than attaching them using a single crochet. I didn't like the finishing it gave me, so this isn't so complex. It's just inserting the loop back, and it's basically just tying it up. So ensure that you can do maybe 3 spaces, then remember to move the lock clasp or that middle part, ensure to give it some allowance so that it's not so fixed that it can't move when you want to close your wristwatch. So remember to fasten off your yarn and yarn it through. Just ensure it's not going to unravel. And that is the end. We're done. So neat. So fasten off your yarn and your wristwatch is ready to use. How pretty is that? You can do this with so many colors, and remember to tag me. Thank you.